Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel for another video today. Today we are talking about something that I actually would very much so like your opinion on. So please do not be shy in the comments. I want this to be an open conversation while of course remaining respectful and conscientious of what we're saying to others. But I do think that this is a worthwhile conversation to have, and that is, should young teens and adolescents be prescribed GLP-1 medications? Now, this is something that had not even entered the realm of my brain until I came across the video that I'm going to be referencing, which I will link down below. But I was not even thinking that GLP-1s were being prescribed to younger people. It just wasn't in my brain. However, apparently they have been. So unbeknownst to me, WEGOVY is actually FDA approved for kids as young as 12. And there have been doctors who have recommended it for children as low as 6. That is obviously against the FDA approval, but it is being done. There are doctors who are prescribing GLP-1 medications, semaglutide, to 6-year-old children. Now, we're going to delve into this. We're going to talk about this and talk about what all the possible risks and benefits are, because I think that it's worth mentioning and worth talking about, because there are a lot of points on both sides. So to give you a little bit of statistical data, in the year 2020, there were about 8,000 prescriptions in America per week for WEGOVY for young teens and adolescents. And this is counting the children that are aged 12 and over, so that are in the FDA approved age group. However, I didn't even know that was a thing. That, in my mind, is a lot. 8,000 young teens and adolescents every single week in America being prescribed a GLP-1 for weight loss. That, in my mind, is a lot. However, now in the year 2024, there were over 60,000 new prescriptions per week for young teens and adolescents, again, over the age of 12. Now, what do we think about this? I'm going to go over like in a sort of non-biased way what the risks and what the benefits are. And then I am going to give you my opinion on this, just like I want you to give me your opinion down in the comment section. But before we delve into the risks, I do want to note that in America, over 20% of young teens and adolescents are considered to be obese. So keep that number in mind while we delve into the risks versus the benefits of this for children, because 20%, if you're already obese in your teen years, that is pretty much going to set you up for a lifetime of fighting weight-related issues, weight-related diseases. So I do think it's prudent to mention that we obviously have a problem here in America, not with just obesity in adults, but obesity in children. And maybe this should be the age group that we are targeting for the overall health and longevity of life in America. Just gonna throw that out there. So we're gonna start with what the risks would be. So the biggest one that I saw when researching for this video over and over again was the risk of eating too low of calories. Now, in your adolescent years, for men and women, or young girls and boys, you're going through puberty. You're going through a lot of changes. Your brain is trying to develop. And if you starve your body of its necessary caloric needs, then that can hurt your body and your brain development. Now, I do think that obviously a lot of them are overeating, but if you guys know, if you have kids, if you're a parent, then you probably realize or have seen your teens go through this time where they just for like 2 weeks eat all of the food in the house, right? Like they're always hungry. They eat at 30 minutes later, they're eating again, especially boys. This is because they are going through puberty, their body is going through changes, their brain is trying to develop, their organs are trying to grow and develop into adult size organs. They're on this pathway to adulthood. And so they need this extra fuel during this time to properly fuel their body so that it can grow properly. So that is definitely one of the big risks, is too much calorie restriction to the point where it hurts the overall development of your body. And that, to me, I think is the biggest risk, because, you know, you don't want to do anything in your teens that could further hurt, especially like your brain development, because that can affect mental health in the long run and so many other things in your body. So I think that that is really important to mention. However, if you're looking at somebody, the subject in the video that I'm going to link below was like 350 pounds as a young teen, like a 14 or 15-year-old boy. And so at that point, you have so much extra sort of fuel and fat sources that your body could pull from to aid in that development, that it might be not an issue, right? So there is definitely this like risk versus benefit for each individual patient that I do think needs to be addressed in this issue of whether or not teens should be on a GLP-1. Now, the other big risk, and that's pretty much the only other risk that I see, or that I saw when I researched, and the kind of one that I think is what the long-term effects on brain development are. We as adults, again, are not going through brain development. If you are the brain stops developing in your late 20s. So if you are in your late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, your brain's not growing anymore. You're grown. You got all the brain you're going to have. But if you are a teenager, that is not true. And so since we don't know the long-term effects of GLP-1s in terms of anything really, we don't know what placing a teenager on a GLP-1 is going to do in 10, 20, 30 years to their brain and to their overall health. And so I do think that that is a concern that is worth noting as well. The biggest thing that I can see is the fact that it rebalances your hormones, and it's sort of like, you know, hormones in teens are already so crazy anyway. And so when you're messing with them, I don't know, it's kind of, in my mind, it's not the same thing, but I'm thinking of it in terms of like putting kids on anti-anxiety or antidepressant medicine. Again, it's just very specific to each specific kid. But we do know, like, Lexapro is considered to be one of the safest anti-anxiety and antidepressant medicines. I've done a lot of research on that for just my own personal history. And so that is always the go-to for young teens and kids, is Lexapro. For pretty much everybody, that's a go-to because it has very long studied data and has proven over years and years and years and years to be the safest option for teens and young children. And so we have that data. So when we're putting kids on any brain altering medication, and these GLP-1s do alter areas in our brain, we don't know what the long-term effects are. So again, that could be something that we are looking at 10, 20, 30 years down the road, that we need to, again, weigh the options with. Now, the benefits, I think, are, I don't want to give my opinion yet. Let's just jump into the benefits. Now, obviously your overall health is going to improve. As a young teen, that can be literally like everything you need in life if your health has improved. In the case of this young man, he didn't specifically say this in the video, but I would imagine at being over 300 pounds in your teens, he was getting bullied. And if he wasn't getting bullied, he probably had that mindset of, I'm fat, I can't move as good as the other kids, I'm not attractive, girls or guys or whatever he was interested in aren't going to love me, whatever. And so when you take away that and you start to feel more confident in your body, the effects for your mental health as a teenager could be astronomical. Like, that is undeniable. Nobody could sit here and say that that wouldn't very positively affect the mental health of a teenager, to be more accepted socially, to feel better about themselves, to have a higher confidence level. And so that is a huge benefit of these medicines for adolescents, is that it can give them their confidence back, their social confidence, their personal confidence, and then therefore make everything better in their life. The next benefit, obviously, is the long-term disease pattern. So if you sort of nip in the bud right now these obesity issues as a teenager, you are setting yourself up for a much, much healthier life in the long run. So you have lower risk of developing diabetes, several cancers that are caused by obesity or are linked to obesity, heart disease, stroke, weight related issues in terms of like your knees, your hips, so many things. Again, your mental health and your long-term mental health, you are definitely increasing the odds that you are going to have a longer, more healthy life if you, the earlier in your life you end your obesity struggle. So that obviously is a very huge benefit of starting it. And I think that the mental health throughout your teen years is such a big thing. You know, we have throughout our teens and our adolescents in America a problem right now with bullying and mental health and drug use and all of that stuff. And a lot of like drug use even starts with the want and the need to be accepted. And so if you have somebody who is struggling with their weight and they're struggling feeling accepted in any social circle, and then they sort of are able to correct that and reset themselves on a better track, the effects of that long term could be astronomical in their life. And I think that is so important to mention. And so now that we've really talked about what the main risks are and what the main benefits are, would I, if I had an overweight teen right now, like a severely overweight 12+ year old, would I recommend or would I source out a GLP-1 for them? I would. I don't know if my opinion is going to be controversial or not, but I would. I absolutely think that the benefits outweigh the risks. You know, when we know better, we do better. And so if in 5-10 years they come out and say, oh wait, just kidding, the effects on the brain, whatever, if it's proven that it's going to be a risk, I think I've always taken the approach in life that if we don't know that there's something to worry about, then we shouldn't worry about it. I do that with every aspect of my life. So if you can't give me a real proven risk of something happening, then I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to put that away until there is a real risk or there is a real reason to be worried about something. And so in my mind right now, if you are a obese adolescent then who has the opportunity to get healthier through the use of GLP-1s and extend the positivity of the entire rest of your life, why not? It is, like I said, FDA approved for children 12 and older. Semaglutide is, tirzepatide is not. Do I think that they should give it to children younger than 12? I don't know. I think that there's a reason that it's FDA approved for 12 and older. But I also think that, you know, somebody mentioned in a recent video of mine that the whole reason a lot of insurance companies aren't approving this is because America thrives off of us being sick. And so are we going to see some pushback from the media? Like, don't give this to your teenager, whatever. Maybe, because do they want all of the obese, the 20% of adults, the 20% of teens that are obese now to get healthy so that they're healthy in the long run? You think what you want about that, or you form your own opinion about that. Again, a reason why I just don't listen to a lot of news and a lot of media things and conspiracies. I like to gather information from various sources. So like ones that agree with what I think, ones that don't agree with what I think, and form my own opinion in the middle. I think everybody in America could benefit from doing that off of literally everything that we have going on in this country. But yeah, so I think that there might be some people who try to scare you out of it, just like there's people that try to scare adults out of it. But if you look at, I think I've shared enough in this video to say like the benefits of getting your teen healthy now way outweigh the risks of the possible issues. Like I do think that it's important if you do have a teen that is going to be on a GLP-1, I think this is something really important to mention, is that you should be working with a nutritionist. You should get an idea of the amount of calories that your teen's body needs on a daily basis to grow and function properly. Because if you have an obese teen, they're probably eating way, way, way more than they need, because teens can eat a lot and not gain weight. And probably being very sedentary as well. And so if you work with a nutritionist, you say, okay, well, my 15-year-old teen boy needs 2,300 calories a day or whatever, I just made that number up, to grow and develop properly, then you can focus on that number and make sure that you're getting the minimum that you need while also meeting your weight loss goal. So I do think it's important to at least speak to a nutritionist and make sure that you're, because you are dealing with developmental things, make sure that you are at least meeting and at least are aware of what your child needs to be able to grow and thrive properly while also helping them with the weight loss through the use of GLP1s. So that is my opinion on this topic. I would love to know what yours is. Seriously, let's converse on this because I, again, was not even in my brain to think about, and now it is. So I want to know what y'all's thoughts are on this topic. Please leave them down below. Maybe I'll even create a poll in my free encouragement Facebook group to see what y'all's thoughts are and encourage chatting in there as well. So if you want to join, the link is down below. It's always under my Orderly Meds link or above. They're right next to each other. And so you can check that out if you are interested. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let's have a chat on this topic. And tomorrow we are talking about breaking weight loss plateaus. Because your girl's trying to get to her 100-pound weight loss mark. And so we're trying some new things to do that. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will see you guys tomorrow. And until then, guys, let's have a nice, healthy conversation in the comment section. Have a great day, guys. Bye.